I think it is important on this day that we continue to offer the people of Colorado, people of Littleton, the families involved, the sure knowledge that all of America cares for them and is praying for them.
Today, our nation grieves with those who have lost loved ones at Virginia Tech.
As a country, we have been through this too many times, and we're going to have to come together and take meaningful action to prevent more tragedies like this, regardless of the politics. But we are not the only country on earth that has people with mental illnesses or want to do harm to other people. We are the only advanced country on earth that sees these kinds of mass shootings every few months. Somehow this has become routine. We've become numb to this. We talked about this after Columbine and Blacksburg, after Tucson, after Newtown, after Aurora, after Charleston. It cannot be this easy for somebody who wants to inflict harm on other people to get his or her hands on a gun.
Turned 18 the day after. Woke up to the news that my best friend was gone. And I don't understand why I could still go in a store and buy a weapon of war. How is it that easy to buy this type of weapon? How do we not stop this after Columbine, after Sandy Hook? I'm sitting with a mother that lost her son. It's still happening.
3 out of every 10 American adults owns a firearm. The highest annual amount of gun deaths in the U.S. was in 2017, with over 40,000 fatalities. Just in the past year, 57 people were killed in shootings. Protecting Americans from this threat versus protecting the individual rights of Americans remains highly contested. The most common reasoning Americans have to justify owning a gun is for self-defense or protection. According to the Pew Research Center, most gun owners say the right to bear arms granted to them by the Second Amendment is essential to their own sense of personal freedom. American gun owner views are heavily influenced by partisanship and political ideology. Most gun owners that feel that their individual right to own guns is vital to their personal freedom identify as Republican or are more conservative-leaning. The main points of opposition are: some people feel that owning a gun is vital to their personal safety, gun regulation empowers the government too much, gun control laws infringes upon their constitutional right, and the guns could help reduce the crime rate.
If the regulation is not repealed, it will allow the agency to very unfairly deprive Social Security recipients of their Second Amendment rights.
Called concealed carry, where a teacher would have a concealed gun on them. They'd go for special training, and they would be there, and you would no longer have a gun-free zone. Gun-free zone to a maniac, because they're all cowards. A gun-free zone is let's go in and let's attack, because bullets aren't coming back at us.
Americans that believe in stricter gun regulation are in the majority. Gun control supporters believe that by making it more difficult to purchase and possess firearms, we can reduce the amount of gun deaths and mass shootings. In terms of gun control proposals, there is one polarizing question. Do we need less guns, or do we need to make it harder to get them? The most controversial countermeasures proposed have been the implementation of universal background checks. Some may say this should be common sense, while others argue that this violates a consumer's personal privacy.
We're not saying no guns. Okay. We are saying we want to regulate semi-automatic weapons and the accessories that make them fully automatic, because fully automatic weapons are banned. Right. But the accessories that make semi-automatic ones aren't. So we want to stop those from getting into the hands of the public.
You know, earlier this year, I answered a question in an interview by saying the United States of America is the one advanced nation on earth in which we do not have sufficient common sense gun safety laws, even in the face of repeated mass killings. And later
in Australia, there was a shooting at a school in 1999. After that, they took a lot of ideas, they put legislation together, and they stopped it. Can anyone here guess how many shootings there have been in the schools since then in Australia? 0. We need to do something.
We, as a society, are becoming increasingly desensitized to mass shootings and other similar events due to the frequency at which they happen. Beyond the constitutionality of the issue, the effect of gun violence and mass shootings on our culture must be addressed. Acts of gun violence have become somewhat normalized and has been reduced to a regular occurrence, rather than a rare, heartbreaking tragedy.